internet people. Today is the day that I reveal to you the replacement for TeeTer ToT. And you probably already have an idea of what that car is based on the beginning of this video. So without further ado, it has just arrived. I had a transport company bring it here because it was in Sacramento and I couldn't be at SEMA and do this at the same time. I have actually not seen this car in person yet. Charlie, however, flew to Sacramento to see the car and drive it before I purchased it because I couldn't take the time to go away to go out there to do this. So this is my first time actually seeing this car in person. Many of you are already aware of the fact that I am from New Hampshire originally, and I've had a lifelong obsession for rally racing and rally cars in general, which is no surprise to why I bought this is so crazy. I've always wanted one of these ever since I was little, and especially living in Germany for 4 years. This is by far the most money I've ever spent on a car in my entire life, and it's older than I am. Yes.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you. So here is my new car. It is a 1983 Audi Coupe Quattro. For those of you that understand this car, you know how incredibly rare it is, and even more rare the fact that it's original paint in only 44,000 miles. So real quick with my walk around, it does have the European spec front headlights and grille and bumper on it, and over here it has a set of the 15x8 Ronald wheels. I don't know off the top of my head for sure if this was a European spec Audi part only. I think the American spec Audis had a different wheel. I could be wrong though. The car does have little nicks and blemishes here and there, but it is the original paint, and it's a 38-year-old car. There's so many no-see-ums flying around right now. I swear I'm gonna eat one of them. These graphics down here on the door, these are original graphics. They're not aftermarket, and they have like little digital patterns that fades ombre. It's kind of cool. And because it is a URQ, it does have the blister fenders front and rear on it, unlike the front wheel drive Coupe GTs, which was a straight body panel on there. One of the little areas that does have a blemish is back here on these louvers. The paint is chipping and peeling on the louvers, but I actually plan on painting these gloss black anyway, so that's fine. Now moving around back, some of you will know this is kind of a rare part right back here. It does have the Sport Quattro smoked tail lenses, so it's actually like a smoked black lens itself. It's not like a tint film or anything over it, and has the European spec rear fog light on there. The US spec cars, and I believe even the European spec cars, had just the red and amber taillight, unless it was the Sport Quattro, the short wheelbase car. It also has the European spec rear bumper on here. I think the exhaust is stock. It may be aftermarket. The story with this thing is the original owner actually had this car and brought it to 2 Bennett in California because they wanted to cut it up and make it to a short wheelbase WRC replica car. And the shop 2 Bennett actually said no because it was a clean original car of such low miles. So 2 Bennett actually bought this car from that original owner and provided them a different car to make into a short wheelbase rally replica car. So I wanted a long wheelbase car because these were actually the ones that won when they were racing in rally. I believe it started out as Group 4 before it went to Group B. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this was a car that Michel Mouton won in and drove in the WRC. And like, if you think about the early 80s, how inspiring that must have been to so many women back then, and how just like they were pioneers doing what they did. So like I said, it does have a couple blemishes, and this was the only major one on the car. It was not a deal breaker for me because I know for a fact I can take care of this. But right here on the front fender, it does have a scratch that's down to the bare metal. But I do believe this car is single stage, so I am pretty confident it being a non-metallic, non-pearl white, I'll be able to take care of that without having to repaint the fender. As far as the interior goes, this one has chocolate brown leather. That's my favorite part about this car, is the color of the interior, that it's not black or tan or anything else. The interior is almost perfect, with the exception of a couple little things, but they're minute. Like the main parts, the leather and the upholstery is spot on. The dash has no cracks, except for these little plastic buckets that the speakers sit in. The outer surrounds are cracked. That's the only thing on the dash though that is broken. It's both sides, left and right. The little buckets have a crack. And then down here in the center, it does not have a head unit. And instead of showing the center diff and the rear diff lock on this little screen that it normally would have here, it actually has an optional gauge pack cluster, like a period correct gauge pack cluster, which is kind of cool. I like that. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the cool digital dash that came out a year after on this car. I actually think in late 83, but it still has only 44,000 miles, which is pretty sick. You can see the back seat on this thing is mint. Everything in here is super nice. Leather is in really good shape. Door cards are in really good shape. The carpet is really nice. It's like a really thick black carpet. I've named every one of my cars boy names so far, and I want to give this a girl name. Out of kind of like paying tribute to Michelle Mouton. I don't want to name it Michelle though, because that would be like too exact. So give me some suggestions in the comment section below. I don't know what to call it yet. I'm open to suggestions though. Good morning. It's the following day. I haven't driven this thing yet, other than just from right next to the shop to inside the shop. So that has to happen. You guys are probably wondering about under the hood. I haven't popped that yet, so let's do so. This thing needs a good detail. Pretty much the first few videos that I start doing stuff to this car is gonna be an insanely excessive detail job. So underneath the hood of this car, since it is American spec, well, I need a hood strut. I'm gonna put some struts on this thing. This is the WX 10 valve 5-cylinder turbo engine. And a lot of you are like, oh, I need a 20 valve swap that. Absolutely not. This will not get engine swapped at all. There's no reason to, but more importantly, I care about the way the car sounds and the feeling I get from that. Or else I'd just go buy a an Audi e-tron if all I wanted to go is as fast as possible. Now this does have a boost controller on it, so it's running 1.5 bars of boost currently right now, and it should be somewhere in the mid 200s horsepower wise. These 10 valve engines, they're kind of unique because it's not a cross flow engine, so the intake manifold and exhaust manifold are both on the same side of the engine, which isn't exactly optimal for heat management, but you can still make 500 plus horsepower out of a 10 valve Audi engine. It's no slouch. You gotta ram shitloads of boost under there, but you can still make a lot of power out of it. Everything is immaculate though in this engine bay. I mean, it's super clean in here. It's a rust-free car because it came from California. It's so weird how the radiator and the intercooler are off to the side right over here. I would like to try to find one of the magnesium intake manifolds if I could. They're hella rare, but that would be kind of fun. It's kind of a heavy hood, just a little bit. All right, it's time to drive this thing for the first time. This thing sounds so good. Oh, it's the right size too. I thought it was gonna be a bigger car than this. It's honestly, it's about the same size as the TT, it feels at least. Oh, it's quicker than I thought it was gonna be. Yeah, it's a little bit quicker than I thought it was gonna be. Car runs great. Temp is dead steady right there. Hasn't budged since I've been driving it. Yeah, it's actually not slow. It's not fast, but it's not slow. Yeah, this thing, all right, this thing is quick. This thing's getting so many stares. There's so many people driving by, like, if you know, you know. If you don't, it just looks like an old Audi. You don't really know anything about it. It's laggy, and there's the boost. Idle's pretty smooth. Fans are coming on, they're working. I'm pretty impressed with this car so far, considering how old it is. It's a lot of fun to drive. It's definitely a lot of fun to drive. I gotta figure out what's going on with my diff lock situation because I don't have the cables down here in the center and I don't have the push button vacuum system on the dash. So I got the 2 green lights to show me when I lock my center or my rear diff. I gotta really go through this car and detail it. That was lovely. That was a treat driving this. I swear I had like 10 different people give me thumbs up and like stare at the car when I was driving by. So I guess a lot more people know what this is than I thought would. I figured it would just be old school rally nuts that would understand this car. There's that saying, like, you should never meet your heroes. Buying that car was not the case of that saying. It's more than I could have hoped for. I'm absolutely in love with this thing. I'm so happy. But now I gotta get it back to my house. I don't know why I just pulled it in here. Anyway, I brought it in here because Charlie just stopped by and I wanted to get his thoughts and opinions on it. You think this is worth buying instead of building my own out of a Coupe GT, a front wheel drive Coupe GT?
Yeah, well, because for one, you would never, ever, ever be able to build one that's this nice for the same amount of money. Like, this is just not possible. And when you're done, when you built one, it'd be worth like half of what you had into it if you're lucky. Whereas this is a real one and will just keep appreciating. It's not gonna go down in value.
I've been subtly dropping hints on buying this car for the past few months now, and I was waiting to see if anyone caught on to it. Honestly, I started the process of trying to find this car the beginning of this year, but they're so rare it's hard to find them, and that's why I almost considered doing a front-wheel drive Coupe GT and cutting the entire floor out and buying wide body panels for it and making it myself. But it would not be the same as having the real thing. Like I said, before you guys see any content on this, I promised you the Ranger, and the Ranger I will start on tomorrow. I'm going to start prepping and building this frame right here, and Charlie went and brought all this hardware to get zinc coated for me, so I have all kinds of fresh hardware. I hate it when another channel does something that they saw on another YouTube channel without giving proper credit where it's due, and I saw that on the YouTube channel Tommy F, taking all the hardware off when you restore a vehicle and getting it zinc coated before you reassemble components. I feel that is the correct thing to do, and I did not come up with that idea, so I'm giving credit where it's due, and I'm glad I put in the extra effort to have that done for this Ranger, so it'll come out that much better. This stuff is supposedly really gnarly if you get it in your ingestion tracts, huh?
Well, you'll get heavy metal poisoning from zinc and cadmium, so don't eat it. Don't lick your fingers with all this stuff, and when you sweep it up, don't breathe it in.
It was really tough because I wanted to do a silver finish on it, but Charlie actually talked me into doing the gold because what bracket was it you saw that was actually gold? This?
When you flipped it over, where it was bolted to the frame, you could see it was still gold.
And typically a gold coating is something you more so see on Japanese manufactured vehicles than the silver zinc oxide finish. Silver is more common on American vehicles, so I was going to do everything silver, but...
Or black. They have black zinc also.
Is that iron oxide black?
Well, there's a couple different ways of doing it. Iron phosphate's one of them.
Oh.
Because it's inert, but they have like actual like black zinc. That's that, like if you're taking apart old Toyotas, it's almost like a brown black, or like a green, brown, black.
Well, there's the army green like you have on the... There's like a olive drab green that you have like on the MR2.
That's like the black zinc.
Oh, that is?
Yeah, it just depends on how heavy it's coated.
Oh.
Like, I don't know.
So there you go. there is my new baby. And the first content that will be coming on that car is detailing. I will be detailing the f out of that thing. And I don't have any detailing supplies or equipment or anything. I still haven't got any. So once I get the Ranger underway, I'll get some equipment, some supplies, some materials, some products, so I can start decontaminating my new potato. I'll see you guys soon with another video. Bye!